Hi, Tiffani Cappello here with a transformed life, moving you from anxiety and overwhelm to peace of mind. That is my goal. And I've been back there and I don't plan on going back. And it's all about shifting your mindset. So, yesterday's video, we talked about how to get free from overwhelm. Today was going to be part two and the last installment, but I don't think so. Today's going to be part two, and there's going to be another one because this topic I'm going to bring up now is so vitally important. It's something I see over and over again in the lives of my clients, particularly women, and I think as I jump into it, you'll understand why. So let me start with explaining to you that this was one of the biggest factors in my transformation. I used to be an absolute professional doormat. I just was run over and treated with disrespect by nearly everyone. When others are bullying you, treating you with disrespect, when you allow toxic people, energy vampires, a bunch of drama that doesn't belong to you into your life, your subconscious mind knows that you cannot be trusted to keep yourself safe. Okay? And it's going to send anxiety. You're going to feel overwhelmed. And one of the most important things you can do is to recognize toxic people and remove them from your life. I do have a video on how to identify toxic people and how to know if you need to remove them. So you can look below in the description and you can watch that video to help you identify those people. But if someone stresses you out and makes you uncomfortable, that's when you really need to evaluate. Someone is taking away your peace. Okay. So some people are just toxic. They are incapable of having a healthy relationship, at least right now. I don't mean permanently incapable. I mean incapable right now where they're at in their spiritual, mental, emotional development. Okay. They lack relationship skills. And it doesn't matter how much you try, you are not going to be able to have a quality relationship with this person. And you need to protect yourself from people like that. Okay. And then you have people who are just energy vampires. Okay. They're not necessarily toxic. They might actually be pretty kind people, but they're going through a lot and they think it's your job to solve their problems. So they're constantly leaning on you, relying on you to build them up and to rescue them and solve these problems for them. And they're doing nothing to solve them themselves. So I call those people energy vampires. And you know that you've met one because after you have even the short conversation with that individual, you feel so emotionally drained. So energy vampires don't necessarily need to be removed from your life like toxic people, but you need to have boundaries, strong boundaries, because you need your energy for yourself, your family, your career. Now, some of you are cringing right now. We're thinking, oh God, Tiffani, but that sounds so selfish. Okay. But your number one responsibility is you. That is not selfish. Okay. If you do not take care of yourself, you are no good to your children, to your partner, to your friends, to your business or your company. Okay. Your mind knows that it needs to be able to trust you to protect yourself from these sorts of people. You also need to protect yourself from other people's drama. Okay. So, you know what I'm talking about. These are your best friend and her marital situation. Okay. Now, of course, I want to give advice. I want to help my friends, my family. Okay. And it's okay to do so. It's okay to be there for your friends. I'm not suggesting that you sequester yourself off from humanity selfishly and just live in your own little world. Okay. You want to be there for people. You want to encourage them. You want to help them. But you have to keep yourself from being dragged down by the drama in other people's lives, and you have to know when to pull away and say, all right, I've had enough, I'm taking a break. So you don't have to be there 24/7 to jump into people's drama and swim around in it with them. And a lot of times you're offering encouragement, you're offering advice, you're providing support, and the individual just keeps making the same poor decisions again and again. And sometimes you just have to withdraw and say, listen, I have given you support, I've given you advice, you continue to make bad decisions, and what am I supposed to do at this point? Okay, you need to withdraw from that drama. Getting a little scratchy voice here. Lots of colds and stuff going around. Okay, so one of the main energy drains, especially coming from toxic people, is condescension and arguing. Okay, so I'm going to help you learn a simple phrase that is going to really keep you out of arguments and keep you having profitable and nurturing communication. Okay, if you cannot have a good conversation with an individual, but it's always turning toxic, that individual is probably toxic. Or maybe you are, and you need to reevaluate your communication. We're going to talk about that. Okay, so what does toxic behavior look like when you're trying to connect and converse with someone else? Okay, the main word I want you to get in your mind is condescension. Okay, if someone treats you like you're stupid, or what you have said is stupid, or your opinion does not matter, okay, that is a problem. Now, all of these people who do that aren't necessarily toxic people that need to be removed from your life. But you need to set boundaries, because you can interact with people, because sometimes you don't have a choice, right? If your boss or your colleague is sometimes toxic, you may still need to interact with them if you need their job. But how do you set boundaries to keep that behavior from affecting you? How do you not waste your time on unprofitable conversations and arguments? Okay, so let's talk about what it looks like. What does condescension look like? Eye rolling. Okay, if you're in a conversation with someone, they're rolling their eyes at you, okay, that is condescension. Screaming, yelling, raising their voice. Okay, there's no reason you should be putting up with that. I hope that you do not scream and yell at others. If you do, I encourage you to work on that. That's disrespectful. I do not raise my voice and scream at others, and I expect that they will not do that to me as well. If they do, they have crossed a line, and I'm going to enforce my boundary. Name calling. How stupid. You're so dumb. Oh my God, that's so brainwashed. It doesn't even have to be directed at me, but it is in a roundabout way. Sometimes it's a little passive aggressive. Well, that was stupid. Okay, you are implying that I'm stupid, and I don't appreciate it. So I'm not going to tolerate that. Okay, mind reading. I really don't like mind reading. You should not tolerate it. Okay, mind reading is when someone assumes your character based on a statement you said, because they assume that they know what you're thinking. They know what your motive is. Okay, so you make a statement, and they make a complete character judgment based on that statement. This is a very unhealthy pattern. You do not have the ability to read minds. I do not have the ability to read minds. I can't know what someone's motive is, or what they're thinking, or what they're assuming. Instead of mind reading, I expect someone to ask questions for clarification. And I will say to them, I'll say, it feels like you're trying to read my mind and judge my motives. And I would like you to ask me a question, and I'll be happy to explain myself. But don't just assume that I mean A, B, or C without asking me. Okay, which brings me to being judgmental. If you feel like someone's judging you harshly, okay, you don't need to tolerate that. And then talking over you. What does that say? What you have to say is not important. My opinion only matters here. You're clearly wrong, so you don't even deserve to speak. Okay, I'm not going to tolerate that. And that sounds like, wow, Tiffani, how does anyone have a conversation with you? But that's just my point. I believe in having adult conversations. And an adult conversation to me is one where both parties have mutual respect. So I am dedicated to speaking to you with respect. I expect you to speak to me with the same respect. And I will tell people that. I will clearly communicate that. Okay, now we're entering into territory where I think we're going to disagree. I might say that. Okay. And I really believe, here's the phrase I want you to keep in mind, I believe in respectful communication. I don't do arguing. So as long as this conversation is respectful, I'm really looking forward to it. I want to learn from you. You don't have to use all those words, but I will tell them if this conversation moves towards disrespect and condescension, it's over for me. Okay. Now, often I don't say that initially in a conversation. I don't need to give that warning unless I notice a tendency from the past in this individual. But I protect myself when it begins. Okay. So I start seeing the eye rolling, oh God, that's so stupid. Or the voice gets raised and I'm now being screamed at. I'm done. I'm going to set my boundary quick. I'm going to set it firmly and I'm going to say, listen, I don't do arguing. Okay. So I'm happy to discuss this with you. But if you're going to disrespect me, the conversation's over. And if they do, yeah, but at me, I'm done. I am out. I'm going to hang up. I'm going to walk out. I might get in my car and drive away. And then I might say, I'll be happy to discuss this with you when you can speak to me with respect. Now, I hope this doesn't sound harsh, but I'm telling you, this has been a game changer for me. Okay. I'm no longer a doormat. I no longer have to deal with constant disrespect. And most importantly, my subconscious mind knows that I have these boundaries in place and I'm protecting myself. Now, what if someone just refuses to communicate with me respectfully? I've said it, and every interaction continues to gravitate toward toxicity. Okay, out. I'm cutting that person out of my life. I will cut them out until they apologize or communicate respectfully with me. Sometimes that's going to be permanent, and it might even be a family member. Okay, you have to protect yourself. Your subconscious mind has to know that you keep unsafe people away. People that attack you physically are obviously dangerous, but people that attack us emotionally and spiritually are viewed by the subconscious mind as dangerous. If you perpetually expose yourself to dangerous people, you're going to have anxiety, okay? And that includes people in your own home. Sometimes you can't remove a person. You can still set this boundary. You can say, all right, I'm out. Conversation's over. You become like a gray rock. Everything they say bounces off of you. You don't react. You don't talk back. The conversation is over. Okay? Now, what if you're in a situation where when you set that boundary, it turns violent or physical, maybe a spouse? You need to get help. Okay? You need to get help. You need to go to a shelter. There is no excuse for someone physically assaulting you ever. Okay? I do see women in my practice who come to me and they say, Tiffani, I need help with anxiety. When I talk to them about what's going on in their life, I find out they are being abused. It's usually women, but it is sometimes men, so I don't want to exclude the men. Men can be abused too, because a man of character is not going to hit a woman. A woman knows that, and she can physically abuse her man. He's not going to hit back because he has better character than that. Okay, so men can be abused too. If you're in that situation, you need to get out. You will continue to have anxiety because it is your subconscious mind's job to keep you safe. And that's what anxiety is for. Sometimes your mind erroneously latches on to situations and circumstances that aren't actually safe based on past programming. We've talked about that. But if you're in an abusive situation, and that can be emotional abuse, you need to do something to protect yourself. And we can talk more about that later. Okay. So I hope this has been helpful to you. I make these videos because I love you guys. I want you to move from anxiety to peace of mind. I've been back here and it's not pleasant. I now enjoy peace, not perfectly. I still have low moods, still have bad days. I still get angry. I still sometimes forget and actually start to argue. And then I remember, wait a second, respect. So don't expect perfection, but we're all on a journey. I'm on this journey with you. And I look forward to speaking with you again. Look forward to part 3 of this video, where I will be talking about how to overcome overwhelm in your life. I've got a few things to add, but this right here, today's video, is the most important. I see so many people who are completely overwhelmed because of the exposure they have to toxic people, energy vampires, and other people's drama that they need to protect themselves from. If you need help setting boundaries, standing up for yourself, feel free to visit my website. That information is always in the description below, and I'd be happy to help you retrain and transform your subconscious mind to make all of this a bit easier for you. Have a wonderful day.